What's going on, everybody? Yeah, actually, the chat. Setting all this up. See, that's what I use for the mic on the bike, in case people are wondering. But yeah, we gotta get this last ride of the year out of the way. What do y'all say? Y'all want to come around? Come along? Come around. Come along for the ride. Because I'm hungry. We're going to head down to Chattanooga. And get some grub. Grubby grub grub. So, that being said, I can actually... Hey! What's going on, Zan? Peace. Get this stupid little thing taken care of first. I think you should now be a... Yeah, I see the little... tool thingy. Congratulations on being a mod, Zan. I know. Leather with the... Yeah. Don't make sense, does it? But... Anyhow... Come on. Sometimes these gloves work, sometimes they don't. Let's see what we got going on here. Zoom this in just a little bit. Pay that up just a tiny bit. And hope you've been having a good New Year's Eve. We're planning on getting out. Hopefully you can ride. But we got to add a few more miles on the bike. I'm not done for the year yet. Let's see, we're at 82,449, so right? I figured you and Evil are usually always on, so, and I figured in case anybody decides to get a little bit rowdy while I'm live, can't exactly do it while riding, so leave it for you. And of course, I leave the house and it decides it wants, but then again though, I had Bluetooth, I had my Wi-Fi running, so it ran until I ran out of the Wi-Fi, I'm sure. Whew. I'll tell you what, temperature may not be that bad. I mean, it's 58 degrees, but the wind is ice cold. So, it's warm, but not entirely warm, I guess you could say. But welcome to the channel. Anybody that's new watching, this is Riding on 3, your narrator for the ride. And we're here in Tennessee, Dayton right now, and we're gonna head to Chattanooga. Because well, I'm hungry, and the closest steakhouse I have is in Athens, but I don't really like Applebee's. And so I'm going the Texas Roadhouse, which the closest one's in Hickson, which is right there in Chattanooga. All the same area, basically. So that's where we're heading. But I do have news that I'm going to break. I might start it tomorrow, Zan. I got some very interesting news. Something that it's the actual first company. So I'll leave that as a hint. Because I'm still not entirely sure about that. I mean, it's just, I use their stuff, so I mean, that's fine and dandy. I can totally get it, and I'm glad, and I'm happy about it. But at the same time, dang, this road's getting rougher and rougher. The more it rains, because we ended up getting like 2.5 inches of rain the last 2.5, 3 days. But yeah, I got a little bit of announcement, and no, it don't have it's not nothing to do with Drew and Rolling Throttle, not yet. Anyways, I will say I have applied for the ambassadorship for them, because after all, I consider them friends somewhat family. So I mean, every time I get a chance to see them, I go run over and say hi and whatnot. Granted, still haven't been able to ride with them yet, so hopefully that'll change later on and mob into the mountains at the very early, at least then, I should say. But hopefully I'll run into them and we'll be able to ride some during Daytona, because I will be going down to Daytona this year. I've already been approved that, so Daytona, Hog Rock, Mob in the Mountains, Sturgis, of course, if I'm still working at that point, because yeah, those that have been following me for a while knows that, yeah, I've got a little bit of leg issues, hence the reason why I'm on the Trike, which, okay, whatever, make fun of me if you want, but I can promise you this, if you can tell by the video, this Trike doesn't putt-putt by any means whatsoever. Advan? No. Sadly, no. I have talked to Alan, but not about that. I actually talked to Alan about, talked to him like around, right after Thanksgiving. That week right after Thanksgiving. I sent him a message, because I got to noticing, because I was wondering about the water pump covers on the M8s, and they don't sell any of them. So the only company that I'm aware of is on Amazon that carries the color matched hard plastic good quality water pump covers. So I suggested to Alan, hey, here's a picture of what I've got. I would have ordered it from you, but you guys don't carry it. And I go, and a lot of people don't like the factory ones, because they're flimsy and they're prone to fall off, as Lone Cowboy, who actually sent me the link and stuff for the water pump that he bought to replace the one that went missing on his bike that caused him to have that water pump issue. So, quality parts, there's going to be a bump, a crater. That's about the only thing I don't like about a Trike, is I can't exactly dodge all the holes. We still end up hitting some of them. But if you can avoid the big ones, but you still got the small. But I asked Alan, I go, perhaps this might be an idea for you, being it covers all M8s, but M8s. And he sat there and told me, he goes, yeah, he goes, I might have to look into that. So I haven't heard nothing, but maybe he comes up, maybe Advan Black decides to start coming out with the water pump covers. I would have definitely hit 85K too with the water pumps up front. So yeah, anybody that's got a water cooled bike and would like to either have a color matched or a better quality water pump cover, I'd hit up Advan Black about it, ask him questions about it. I mean, the one company on Amazon has them that Lone Cowboy went to. I'm not trying to do anything about that. I mean, but I've only seen one company, and yeah, they did a great color match job on the water pump cover that I got for Twisted Cherry. Water pump cover that I got for Twisted Cherry. But at the same time, though, it's not just that I can think of offhand. So and the other thing was when I went to order the water pump cover. We all typically know there's not a set limited quantity of numbers. The biggest thing you have to run into is year model compatibility, and color. But Advan Black covers just about every single color you can think of. So really, the options with colors, not that bad. Oh, by the way, I don't have the headphones in, so I can't tell if the microphone does its little popping bit every now and then like it likes to do. So if it does start that, Zan, if you don't mind, let me know if you're still watching. If it starts to do that. Oh boy, traffic is busy already. And it's not even 3 o'clock yet. This is the little town that I live in. It takes 30 minutes because they can't figure out how to align the freaking red lights in town. So it takes, if you get caught by one red light, you might as well just hang it up. You just added about 15-20 minutes of time. But this is Dayton. And of course, for those that may not know, historical facts about Dayton is this is where they held the monkey trials at. Where okay, that's awkward. Hello, Caden, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. Run the red light. Nope. It was still yellow when he got to go. Oh well. I'll sit here for a few. Fun part is this red light right here in this town, it's known to have people running. So if you ever ride through Dayton, red light 7, if you're stopped at it having to go across it, you're not on Highway 27, make sure you look before you pull out. Make sure somebody's slowing down at least when their light turns red, because a lot of times, yeah, people run this red light all the time. I mean, I was getting gas at the gas station earlier this summer, and so they started pumping gas, and next thing I know, this freaking city cop just ran the red light. And I got it live on camera. And it's pretty bad when even the city cops will run a red light for no reason. I sat there and watch them sit in the turn lane and watch people run a red light and not even go after them. We'll just sit there and look dumbfounded like, oh, did that guy run a red light? Oh, I guess he did. Oh well. But anyhow, so yeah, I've got to figure out how I want to present the news when it comes time. And I'm kind of excited because it's kind of cool. Prick. But yeah. So my goal for next year is to hit 100K. So most of y'all that know me knows that me reaching 100,000 from 82 is not going to be hard. It might be, depending on what all happens this year coming up. I do have plans on having ankle and knee replacements later on. They are getting worse, so I'm not going to have much of a choice to keep holding that off. So sadly, sometime next year, and it's going to be after Sturgis for sure, I'll end up having to get my knees and my ankles replaced. And maybe, just maybe, I might actually be able to already have, and say that's the other thing. I've got another idea, another thing that I'm wanting to do next year, and well, it is to try to hopefully give this bike a break. So if I end up doing that too early, I might have a little bit of an issue trying to get this bike to 100K. because of course, naturally, if I can get another one, well, yeah, I'm gonna be wanting to ride it. And no, I'm not changing the name of the channel, Zan, or Tweedle, or anybody else that may be watching. Drew from Rolling Throttle, or Crystal. Nope, channel name will stay the same. If I need to, I may just create another channel and link it to this one for when I'm on the other bike. Because, yeah, it's not going to be a Trike. If I have anything to say or do about it, it won't be a Trike. That much I will give away. It's a yellow. But so I figured if I'd have got up earlier, because I worked last night, I'd have probably tried to get at least 1,000 miles in the day. But try to get up tomorrow morning to do it. Hang on a second, Zan. As you know, it's a little bit harder for me to take time to glance down at the messages while I'm in city traffic. But I'll look here in just a second. I've seen where you said something. Let's see here real quick. Oh yeah, for sure. And well, that's the idea. Is I'm still keeping this bike because this bike ain't going anywhere. So yeah, the Trike's not going anywhere. Even if it comes time to. Holy heck, what the heck's going on over here? I wonder. Over by the bank, off to the right. 2 deputies, 2 city cops. Undercover cop. Hey, what's going on, Corey? How's it going? I'm surprised there ain't more people on bikes today. It's not like it's that cold, because it's not. Thank you for swinging by, Corey. Hope it's been nice weather up your way. I know they're predicting us to have colder weather and possibly even snow later this week. Which, I would say from the cold wind that's blowing right now, that's quite possible. Happy New Year's to you too, Corey, and Happy New Year's to everybody else. Hopefully some people are still getting in that last ride before the end of the year. Heck, I forgot to look on the Harley app to see if there was an actual challenge for today. Oops. I might do that while I'm in the steakhouse. Yeah, it says if y'all can't hear the wind, that's how windy it is. It's pretty gusty. Oh, sweet. Well, I actually just ordered my Braille lithium battery so I can install the second amp, so I can actually install the stereo system, the new stereo system that I'm going to put on the bike. Because, well, this one's a little these speakers are getting a little bit too wore out and too used, so I like replacing my speakers at least once every 3-4 years, and it's been about that long, so Trike's going to have a little bit of a different look to it when I do it. So, because the speakers I got aren't the same as what I've got now. So, the bike itself overall is going to have a little bit of a different look. But it's only the speakers though. But I am adding 2 more extras. I am actually running a DS18 setup. DS18 amps, speakers, and I'm using a Braille lithium battery that seems to be like one of the best go-to batteries, from what I understand, from what I've been reading. So, I mean, that's a company that makes the lithium batteries for the race cars and stuff, so, and a lot of the top end, higher, well-known sound shops use them, so I figure I'm gonna go ahead and run that, but try. It's gonna be my first lithium battery, so it should be interesting. Oh, cool. Yeah, hertz are pretty good too. Good Lord. I've been using them for a while now. I mean, they were in my car, my truck. I've used them, well, yeah, cars and truck, I should say. And then they're also on the bike. And I haven't had a problem. Their tweeters that they have, especially being that they're designed for competition, sound competitions and stuff, if you happen to wreck a tweeter, you can actually just buy the diaphragm for it and just take the tweeter apart, turn around, replace the diaphragm, and voila, you're back in business again in no time. You don't have to replace the speaker if you don't want to. They do the same thing for their subs. And a lot of their horns are the same way. So, and hertz, I don't recall seeing anything as far as hertz concerned, as far as being able to replace any of the speakers, the components within the speakers, like the diaphragms and all that, and the baskets, so on and so forth. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't really, I kind of sort of stayed away from hertz and what is it, Diamond Audio. I mean, that's only halfway, and I got the face shield down, so yeah, they get loud. So I've been told, anyways. It's a good setup, and it doesn't rob the bank. That's the thing I like about the most about the S18 is they make good stuff, but they're not expensive at all. I mean, you get a real good speaker for a decent price. And one thing that I have noticed, especially like with Rockford Fosgate, especially here lately, Rockford Fosgate, yes, they've built up their reputation from the 80s and 90s as being a powerhouse speaker, this and that, for car audio and stuff. But one thing that I have noticed though, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about it, both on the sound competition side and just in general looking around, is they keep having issues with the Rockford Fosgate speakers lately and their amps. I don't know if their quality's just gone downhill and they're just riding out and they're just charging people and just riding the name now, which that kind of sort of sucks if that's the case. But, and if that is the case, that they're using their name to sell the products now and not so much the quality anymore, I don't feel bad at all if they're actually hurting from sales and stuff from these other audio companies. Because I remember back in the 80s and 90s when they first came out, Rockford Fosgate was a good quality speaker that didn't really cost you much. And now it costs you an arm and a leg, and the quality is not that great. So I mean, look at the DSP that I bought. I was running a Rockford Fosgate DSR1 DSP on the bike until a couple months ago when I got the DS18 DSP to put in the bike, because, well, the DSR1, the wires and the connector for the wires, the pins and stuff for connecting from the box, just got shot. They weren't holding up to being on a bike. So I went ahead and talked to DS8. I went down when I was at Daytona, checked out the booth, and that's when I decided at that point, when looking at the sound process, DSP, because I wasn't sure how big or how small it was for the bikes. So I wasn't sure where I could be able to put it, and if I did get it, where I'd have to put it. And once I looked at it and stuff, I realized that it's not that big. It hides in the cubby hole on the back wing fairing right beside the stereo without any issues whatsoever. And so, well, I eventually bought the DSP right before I went to Sturgis, and I put it in, and yeah, it's worked fine for me. Plus, it's app controlled, so I mean, I will be doing a video. Probably even be doing a live, I would say, even possibly, when I get ready to do the stereo speaker replacement and stuff. County trying to get a little smart, dude. He's already got you before you. If it took you that long to notice that you were coming up on a cop, you ain't paying attention, or you're just that dang stupid. One of the two. It's not an average, ordinary person who's going to park their car at the very end of a guardrail. Guy's like, oh hell, that's a cop, I let you slow down. Dude, too late. You hit the brakes when you're at the cop, it's too late. Boy, some people crack me up when they see the cop cars sometimes. It's like, oh, what the heck are you doing? Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm turning. Turn signal works. Well, thank you, Zan. Yeah, you can hit the like, dislike. If you don't like the live, don't make a difference. Leave a comment, say hello, chit chat amongst themselves. Y'all want? Or we can chit chat back and forth to each other. And knows there a time or two, so he even knows how things go. Y'all can ask any questions y'all like, and I'll do my best to try to answer them. I know tomorrow, I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, which, man, yeah, like that's going to stop me from riding tomorrow, but I'm not sure where I'm going to ride tomorrow. With all this wind and stuff, I was wanting to try to do Devil's Triangle, but with this wind and stuff, I may not, because as wet as the ground is and stuff is, I'm surprised there ain't more trees on the ground. That was the thing I was worried about this morning on the way back from work, was whether or not I was going to run across a tree across the highway, or across the road in the middle of the night. But I did post a little short talk video this morning on the TikTok channel of the Shark Demon headlight to show how it looks off of a back wing fairing. And yeah, I love it. Well worth the $600 that I paid for it. get custom dynamics. The thing I liked about the custom dynamics one though is even if a cop complains, he can't do much about it once he sees the DOT sticker, the DOT imprint on it. That was the main driving factor as to why I got the custom dynamics one instead of the Baja one. Even though they're almost identical lights. This, it kind of sort of gives me a reminder of being in South Dakota, as windy as it is. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you're not paying attention to the road and what's in front of you, or you're not interested to know what's on the side of the road, especially when you're riding at night, if you can't see the road far good enough up ahead of you, because I know the daylighter that I had that was on the bike, it did okay in front of me, but as far as seeing the edges of the sides of the roads or the side paths a little bit, it sucked. It was basically like a directional freaking flashlight. That's the reason why when I got when I put the Shark Demon on that first night that I rode the bike with it on, I was just like, holy heck, what a heck of a difference. Still an LED headlight. It's just the way how it's designed, it puts the light where it needs to be at. And it's a safer headlight if you ride a lot at night, in my opinion. Some people may not like it. Each their own, we all know that. But how's your bike been doing, Zan? You've been getting adjusted to the conversion kit to it? Is it still doing all right? Holy heck. I don't want lifted off the bike, please. I prefer to stay on it. Good Lord. Yeah, that is one thing that I will mention for those that may not know. Two wheels, depending on which direction, if the wind's hitting you from the sides, you're kind of sort of riding sideways, leaned over. And you don't feel it. It doesn't really push you back as hard from when it's facing you forward. Well, on a Trike, it's a little bit different. When you're riding a Trike, head-on winds will actually push you backward. It'll actually slow you down. It really will. And if it's crosswinds on either side, the wind tries to pick you up off the bike sometimes if it's strong enough. You'll hit pockets of blast and it'll just kind of sort of try to lift you up off the seat. So that's one of the main differences that I've noticed over riding between Trikes and twos. Granted, I haven't really done a lot of riding on twos, but that'll probably change before too long. That's good. I'm glad to hear that it's doing good still. I hope you're happy with it still. That's one thing that I have noticed. You'll get people that ride twos for years, 20, 30, 40 years. And they still want to ride, but they know they can't support the bike anymore. And their only option is to go to a Trike to be safe it's like they don't like it. They can't stand riding it. And it's like, I like the wind, I just don't like how it turns, or this, or that, or it's just too difficult to ride. And I actually talked to a guy because the saleswoman wanted me to talk to the gentleman, because the gentleman's wife knew without a doubt that her husband couldn't hold up a normal bike anymore, couldn't hold up a bagger, couldn't even really hold up a Sportster, because his legs were getting that weak. But she wanted him to keep riding because he wanted to still ride. They had already bought the Trike, but he was getting frustrated with it. So the salesperson called me at the house, called me and asked me if I was off, and if I was, would I be able to come down to the dealership? Because she wanted me to talk to somebody, because he was having some questions about Trikes. I told her I go, yeah, I can come down, but it's going to be about an hour and a half before I can get down there. And she said, hang on a minute, let me talk to the guy. And she said, the guy's going to go eat lunch, dinner and stuff, and we're working on his paperwork to try to get him some figures, and he'll be back in a little bit. So can you come on? I was like, yeah, sure. So I got down, the couple was still out eating, or doing whatever. And she had proceeded to tell me what the situation was. She says it felt awkward and she didn't want to, because she has a conscience. I know most people think salespeople don't really have, a salesperson at a Harley dealer most of them don't have consciences. Well, she did. And it still does. But she was trying her best to try to convince the guy not to trade the Trike back in, not only because he's going to be losing money, but because his wife had told her about the situation, about his legs and stuff, and even she's noticed that he's having problems walking around the dealership. So I was like, as long as he's not going to be combative about it, okay, sure. So she's like, he said that he'd go ahead and talk to you, so that's not going to be an issue. It's like, okay. So I talked to the gentleman, and what it boiled down to was the dealership he bought it from didn't take the time to show him how to adjust the rear shocks from the factory. And what it was doing was, it was set up so badly, because with Trikes you have to set the shocks up right, or yes, Trikes can be dangerous, just like the old school three-wheelers from the 80s were. A lot of it was the shock system on the Trikes, or on the three-wheelers back then, that actually made them dangerous. But once you dialed in the shocks, even from the factory, you have to adjust the shocks based on your weight and the type of riding that you're doing. Because even with the suspension technology shocks that I've got now, I had to do some adjusting even after their baseline adjustments, because, well, it was set up to be, they were set up to be ridden on the interstate and mostly straight streets, not curvy mountain roads. So I went out there and asked the gentleman, I go, I'm not trying to offend you, but I do need to know. I go, how much do you and your wife, I go, do you ride by yourself a lot, or do you and your wife ride a lot together? He goes, me and her ride, it's pretty much me and her all the time. I go, so you're hardly ever by yourself? He goes, right. So I was like, okay then. I go, so with that being said, I need to know how much both y'all weigh combined roughly. And he looked at me funny. He goes, what do you mean? I go, in order to adjust, I go, because I think from what's happening and what you're telling me, because he'd sit there and tell me anytime they went around a curve, the bike would lean really, really bad, and wouldn't want to turn. And me riding mine as much as I do, I knew what the situation was. It was the rear shocks weren't set up right. That's the first time I took the bike up on the tail with my daughter from Daytona. Yeah, we didn't even go a tenth of a mile up the tail. We went around about 3 turns and we turned around because the bike would not want to turn. So I had to figure something out. Talked to Drew from Rolling Throttle. That's the reason why I like them so much. That's the reason why I recommend going to their website, because that's some important stuff. He takes the time. He doesn't care what he's doing. He will talk to you if you have an issue. So I contacted him. He said, yeah, what you need to probably do is adjust the shocks. He goes, if it's not wanting to turn, he goes, that's what it sounds like. I was like, okay. Somebody waving. But so what I done was I took his weight, looked in my book, because he didn't have an owner's manual for his Trike. So I looked at mine, considering it's a Harley. Shouldn't be that much of a difference. His was a 2020, mine's a 19. Shock systems are still the same. So I went ahead and took his seat off, adjusted his rear suspension, and I said, before you try to sell this bike, I go, before you decide to try to trade it in and lose all this money that you just put in this bike, appreciate it. And he was like, what do you want me to do? I go, want me and you go up 52, go across Fort Mountain, see how you feel about it. He's like, okay. I go, just ride how you want to ride. I go, we'll take our time, and I go, just let me know how it feels. He's like, okay. And so we left Dalton, went up through Chatsworth, went up to Fort Mountain. We stopped at one of the overlooks, about half, not even really halfway, about a quarter of the way up. But it's wide enough, it's a big pull-off, so we was able to stop, have plenty of room. I could take the seat off, and readjust it if I needed to, but there's some curves before we get to the pull-off. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, Jesse. Okay, that's neat. Somebody watching was actually that white Ultima back there that I just passed a few minutes ago as they were turning off. That's cool. Appreciate it. Hello, welcome to the channel. But when we got to the pull-off, we stopped and I talked to the guy and I go, how does it feel? He goes, the difference is amazing. He goes, I don't want to trade this now. He goes, I didn't know that it made that much of a difference to have the shocks set up right. I was like, oh yeah. I go, trust me. I go, even when you get aftermarket shocks and put on them, they have to be adjusted to your weight and what kind of road and conditions that you're riding in. Mine, a lot of people, and he's like, well, it seems to be stiffer and you can feel the bumps a lot more. I go, that's about the only bad thing about doing it is for trikes. If you're riding twisties a lot, mountains, curvy roads, it's not mostly straight roads, and you're having to deal with sharp curves, you're gonna give up a little bit of the comfort, a little bit of the cushioning. Hey, check it out, somebody on a bike. I actually thought about getting one of those, actually. Appreciate it, Jesse. And always. And back to the situation. So him and his wife were actually happier. They went back. We went ahead and turned around and went back down to the dealership. We got back down there. He told the salesperson, he goes, look, he goes, I'm wanting to hold on to this. He goes, can we hold off on doing any more stuff for now? And she was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And sales guy come up to me and goes, dude, he goes, you just costed me a sale. I was like, yeah. I go, but at the same time though, you just got a customer for life though too at the same time. I go, I know you guys like to sell bikes. He goes, yeah, that's true. I go, but he's gonna tell people how you took care of you. And I go, and to me, I'm just helping the dealership out longer wise. And I've seen the guy several times back, and he even went back down and bought another Trike. So instead of buying a normal bike for anywhere between 15 to 25,000, he decided to get the CVO I think it was the 23. He decided to go ahead and get a new one. And he actually bought the bike from them, unlike his other one. So they ended up making more money off the guy in the long run. What the heck? Whoa, 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 whoa. Dude didn't even look at the guy on the bike. He's paying more attention to where... Don't tell you. Moron. I mean, it's one thing to be skateboarding, but it's another just to pay attention to just one direction. If I'm crossing the road, I'm looking all over the place as I'm going. I ain't gonna be looking at just one place, at one direction. Not down here. But so yeah, there are some setups and some little twists and tweaks, like I've always said about getting on a trike compared to a bike. And one of them is you have to make sure it's adjusted a little bit more. And and you have to adjust it based on the roads that you're on, the weight that typically on the bike, and how you ride. Me? Yeah. Bike doesn't really get to be babied a whole lot. She gets ridden as if she's let's see here, a performance bike. Even though it's not, it's a trike. But you really can't tell it a whole lot sometimes by the way how I ride it. Dude, I'd be surprised you get across. Flirting, you might. You've got the front tire up off the ground a little bit. But I'm here at my destination. And so I will be bidding y'all a farewell here in just a second. I can't use the handicap. Well, I could. We got a handicap spot open too, but I'm gonna sit right here and bid everybody a farewell. Happy New Year's. Thank you for watching. And yeah, we're eating at Texas Roadhouse today, or I am anyways, I should say. And well, get some more mileage in for the day afterwards. And I hope everybody stays safe. Have a great happy New Year's Eve. Those that are partying tonight, please be safe. Don't really like hearing about people getting hurt. As a firefighter and stuff, Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Halloween, those are the main holidays. A lot of times we used to get a ton of wrecks for obvious reasons. So please, not saying nobody don't drink, nobody go out and get wasted and drive and this and that. Please, if you do, or don't drink, but if you do drink, please just don't risk it. Don't risk another person's life, and especially your own, because well, we're all here for a reason. And heck, stay safe, keep riding, and if you're riding, hopefully y'all get to ride tomorrow. Start the new year off the right way, and I'll catch y'all later. I'm gonna go in here and eat. See y'all later. Have a great day. Bye.